Hi everyone, so this is my class introduction for our positive behaviors and supports in the classroom. So my name is Michelle. I'm 29 years old and I live on Long Island. I was born and raised there. I'm currently a one-to-one teaching aide at a special needs school, and I plan to complete my TPA really soon to be a New York State teacher certified. I love working with kids who have special needs, and I can't imagine what I would be doing if I didn't stumble upon the school district about 2 years ago. I didn't realize how much I liked working with kids with special needs until I was working with them. It was a really accidental thing to find this job. I had just taken my teacher assistant certification, and I just put my resume out to a whole bunch of places, and my school popped up and I was like, this sounds like a place that I want to be at. And I put in my resume. And the next day, I got an email from the former principal. There's a new principal this year. And he literally hired me the day of on the spot after he spoke to the superintendent. And the funny thing is, the superintendent is actually married to my Italian teacher from high school. So that was actually a really fun conversation to have during my interview. Since beginning my MACE degree in February, I've been so fortunate to learn and expand my perspective and my ways of thinking. I plan to use all the tools that I've learned within this program to make me a better one-to-one and eventually a really great teacher. I decided to go back to school this year. It was a goal of mine to complete my TPA this year and go back and get my master's degree. And I'm sure plenty of you who have worked with me in the past with these classes knows I was in a car accident in December, the week of Christmas, and I've been in and out of rehabilitation with physical therapy and a chiropractor, and having to come to school even virtually has just been so relieving for me, and it helps me, especially with COVID and everything that's happened over the last few months. It's been a really good distraction and it helps keep me focused and, constantly learning and building on skills, and I really enjoy it. Working with Bub. Okay, so I work with a one-to-one student. I've been with him since September of 2018 when I started at my school. I'm not sure if we're allowed to say what our kids' names are, but just, for legal reasons, I won't. It actually started really funny. I told him one day, I think I'm going to call you Bub. And he looked at me, he's like, I don't like that name, I don't like it. And I was like, well, I think it suits you. And then after that, it just kind of took off. And if I don't call him Bub and I call him by his name, he gets very insulted. So he's got a little bit of a list of needs. I know some of the major ones. He's got ADHD, he's got OCD, and he has Tourette's. On top of that, he's a type 1 diabetic and he does have celiac disease. Within the first month of working with him, I learned so much about carb-free snacks and diabetes that, I have friends that come to me and they're like, well, is this too much? Is this bad? Is this number good? I don't know. So, they'll always ask me, really weird questions, and I'll try to help them as best as I can and, let them have some insight. He's been the only one-to-one that I've worked with since I started. I was told previously right before I met him during orientation, the day before I met him, that he was a problem child, that he was always ending up in support or what we call crisis. It's a room where we bring our kids to just kind of mellow out, calm down, breathe a little bit, get their anger out, and go back to class when they're in the right mindset. In our first year together, he was in support 3 times, and our first support issue didn't happen until February of 2019. It was Valentine's Day, believe it or not. The day before he'd gotten into a fight with another student, and he ended up in the crisis room for the whole day. And I had to go in there and check on him numerous times. And from that time, the months that followed, he was in crisis 2 more times, but that was only 3 times through the whole year. And other than that, he was really good. He had a couple of issues within those months, so it's kind of understandable as to why he was in support, but it is what it is. Our last school year, right before COVID hit, he was not in support once. And we're aiming this year for another support-free school year. So fingers crossed. He's opened my eyes to special needs, medical issues, and advocating for students who do not know how to advocate for themselves. And I think that's a really big thing that needs to be discussed, especially with special needs and with schools like my school. Having to advocate for kids who don't know how to advocate for themselves is really, really important. He loves basketball, football, and all type of sports. And when we have free time, he enjoys drawing. He's very artistic, but he's very Picasso-like. And when we have our wind down period at the end of the day, he really likes to play Uno. He's really big on Uno, and he is a stinky, stinky cheater. And he likes to watch Victorious on Netflix, and I'm pretty sure I have seen the episode Freak the Freak Out at least 300 times. And actually, yesterday he tried to play it in school after playing it the day before on Friday. And I looked at him and I was like, if you play Freak the Freak Out one more time, I'm gonna freak the freak out on you. So we try to be like level-headed, but like it's a joke. I wasn't really serious. I'm not really gonna freak out on him, but it's a joke, and he likes to do that sometimes to push my buttons. So about me, I'm the first in my immediate family to pursue all 3 degrees. I have an associate's degree in arts in creative writing. I have a bachelor's in arts with general secondary education with emphasis in English, and I'm currently pursuing my master's of arts in special education. I am the middle of 4 children. I have 2 older sisters, and I have a younger brother. And I have 4 nieces and 1 nephew, and I always joke around that he is my favorite nephew. My brother and my nephew are actually 9 months apart. So my brother is 12 and my nephew is going to be 12 in October. So I joke around with him that he's my favorite nephew, and up until he realized that my brother wasn't my nephew, the joke was less funny to him. My favorite color is lime green. I love bright colors. I love rainbows. I actually have a pair of glasses that I just bought recently that sparkles and rainbows and kind of abstract, and I love them. I believe that coffee and mascara can solve all of my problems. If you're tired in the morning, it doesn't matter. Have coffee. You think you look ugly? Put on some mascara. You're great. Don't even worry about it. My favorite season is the fall. I absolutely love the fall because it's the perfect weather for hoodies and iced coffee. I'm not so much a pumpkin spice girl, but I will go for a great blueberry iced coffee from Dunkin'. And I just love hoodies and I love cardigans and I love like big fluffy things that make you want to curl up and read a book. I love to listen to the acoustic versions of songs. Right before COVID hit, I had Sirius radio on my car, and I had the coffee house radio. And after my subscription ended, because I wasn't sure if I was going to be going back, and this whole thing that with COVID, I went to iHeartRadio, and they have coffee shop radio. So I listened to that in my car. But I love acoustic versions of all songs. I think they're like sometimes even better than the originals. My all-time favorite movie is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, hands down. I don't know what it is about it. It's just great. I love it. I love to write, and I've been working on a novel for like the last year. I'm still not finished with it. It's been sitting because I just haven't had the chance to really get around to it. But I love the idea of one day publishing it, even if it's just through Amazon. I have a girl that I used to work with who I helped edit her book, and it's on Amazon. It's called No More. And it's like a self-help kind of thing, but we worked together on it, and she did such a great job. And it really like inspired me to work on mine a little bit more, but then as I started to go back to work, I haven't had the chance to really pick it up. But it's like a cutesy pootsy, like Hallmark type of love thing, but whatever. I'll be happy if it gets published, and even if it gets like one person that likes it, I don't even care. Well, I shouldn't say that. I do care, but you know. I'm fascinated by astrology, zodiac signs. I'm obsessed with like the moon, and I'm intrigued by like tarot and oracle. Like I just kind of think they're really cool. I don't know, the sense of fortune telling always seemed to be like really intriguing to me. I don't know why. My favorite all-time holidays, of course, are in like the fall, winter, because that's just my thing. I love Halloween. I love Thanksgiving, and I love Christmas. I love that I work at a job where every year for Halloween, not only do the kids get to dress up, but the teachers and the assistants do too. I love that I can wake up every Thanksgiving to watch the Thanksgiving Day parade and I don't have to worry about being at a job and working Black Friday. And I love the fact of with these holidays, I can get together with my family, especially like Thanksgiving and Christmas. I know usually I go trick or treating with my sister and her kids. So I just love that they're all family oriented. I'm very family oriented. My favorite all time book, and I read it several times in high school, was Howl's Moving Castle by Diane Wynne Jones. And there's a Studio Ghibli version of this book. They made it into a film, I think in 2005 or 2006. And the Studio Ghibli is awesome, but nothing compares to a book. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, the Studio Ghibli version of the book is great. And I love watching it, and I can watch it over and over and over again because I think the way they portrayed Howl was awesome. But the books are always better to me. But it's just one of my favorites. I love to travel, and I love to go to different places. I live on an island, so obviously I like to go around to different places and see different things and do what I can do, even with my limited mobility sometimes. But my favorite place to be is New Hampshire. I have family that lives out in New Hampshire. They live in a small town called Franklin. And it's just one, I don't know, I love going there because it's just one of my favorite places to be. And I love the air. Like the air just smells fresher because they live in such a small town and they're surrounded by mountains and it's just so beautiful. And it's even nicer in the fall, like right before the snow hits at the end of October. It's so pretty and I just love being there. And I look forward to hopefully going there soon. And if I could work any other profession and do any other thing with my time, I would probably be a social worker or a therapist because I know that, especially working with kids with special needs, we always have to like de escalate situations and talk to our kids and, really kind of get in their head and understand them on a level, like meet them on their level, don't talk down to them. And that's one of my favorite parts about working with our kids, especially working with my kid. I love that we can check in with each other and we can talk. We do this thing in the morning where we check in with one another and it's like, how are you feeling today? What's your goal for today? Who can help you with that? Do you have any special needs, like going and talking to somebody, taking a walk, taking a nap? I love that we have that opportunity to spend with these kids and talk to them like that because it shows not only that we care, but that we're there for them if they need somebody. And I think that's really important. So if I could do any other job aside from special education, it would probably be social work or be a therapist because it's just got to be so fascinating. And just before you go, I just want you all to know that I look forward to working with every single one of you. And I know that a lot of you I've worked with in the past, and we just have such great conversations. And I always look forward to them. I'm always fond of everything that you guys say. My best piece of advice that I was given when I was in high school was that you should never stop learning, regardless of when you graduate or if you graduate. And if you never go back to school, your learning can take place inside and outside of the classroom. You're always learning. You can learn by reading a cookbook, reading a book, reading a newspaper, doing a YouTube video online that teaches you something new. You're always learning. I always look for new hobbies and skills, and I did that a lot during this whole quarantine. I was exercising and trying to learn how to cook and bake and do things that I don't normally do on an everyday basis. So it teaches me something new and even something new about myself. And I think that's a really important piece of advice to pass on to other people is that you never stop learning, even when you're done with school. You're never done. So this was my presentation. I look forward to working with all of you, and I wish you all the best as we progress together. And I can't wait to see what this 6 weeks does for us and the places that it'll take us. Thank you guys so much.